Hey, I'm JP Sears. Today let's talk about something that is very relevant to all of our lives: how to overcome fear. From my perspective, what stops us in life is never fear, but an unwillingness to be afraid is what stops us. So as we talk about how to overcome fear, one of the keys that I'd ask you to consider is, how can you become more sensitive to your fear? Knowing that what can stop you and hold you back and constrict you isn't your fear. It's your unwillingness to encounter your fear. I consider fear to be a very natural, healthy emotion, not some poison designed by the Nazis just to torment humankind. But if we allow fear to be healthfully in our lives, it is a very natural phenomenon. It'll circulate through us, and then it'll dissipate. How does an unwillingness to be afraid hold us back in life? When we're not willing to encounter the natural fear that's arising inside of us, please consider that we're actually afraid of our fear. Fear is the number one fear of humankind. I mean, if you think about it for a second, is there anything scarier than fear? Because we have a situation in our life, maybe it's even a desire of ours, that we then have a reaction of fear about. Heck, it's unknown, we've never done that before, so of course we have fear about it. But when we then have fear about our fear of the new situation, we're not willing to go there. We're not willing to encounter our original fear of the situation because I'm afraid of my fear. Because I'm unwilling to go into the actual fear of what's going on in my life, I can't go beyond it, simply because I won't even go into it when I'm afraid to be afraid. Maybe that lets us consider that fear has never harmed anyone's life. It's our attempt to escape our fear that brings ugly negative consequences to our life. When we're looking at dealing with our fear, a lot of times we just imagine this sort of heroic sense of fearlessness, and that's what we want to become. I want to be fearless. And we think that's the solution. But what if we found out fearlessness, that's a facade of strength. Yet the reality of fearlessness is it's a place of weakness. How could that be? It's a place of weakness because what allows us to appear to be fearless is because we are completely hypnotized by our fear of fear. So instead of just being a human being who has fear, our fear is squared. We're afraid to be afraid. So now we're absolutely so frozen and overpowered by our fear, we don't even know it's there. Perhaps the true place of strength is when we have courage to be afraid. For me, a major step in overcoming your fear is avoid denying your fear as your method of overcoming your fear. Denial of fear is pretty interesting. It can give us a short-term benefit, yet long-term, deeper consequence. So, if you need to perform right here, right now, and you have a fear of performing in front of people, well, somehow if you can deny that fear, well, okay, it helps you out short-term. Maybe that's a good thing. Yet long-term, if that becomes your modus operandi, what are the long-term consequences? What we resist persists. If we resist our fear and our denial of the fear becomes the resistance to it, whatever it is we're resisting gets stronger. Imagine you go into the weight room. How do you make your muscles bigger and stronger? Well, you apply resistance to them. Perhaps the muscle of our fear, and therefore the control it has over our lives, it gets much stronger when our modus operandi is resist the fear. Denied fear controls our lives. How does it do it? Well, we're always fighting, flighting, freezing, or facading in reaction to our fear. And therefore, those reactions shape how we live our life. It's hard to be busy living my authentic life when I'm busy always flighting, running from what's inside of me, my fear. Or I'm freezing in reaction to fear. Hard to live my life when I'm absolutely frozen. Some very conscious, proactive steps for overcoming your fear. Number one, would you be willing to be actively afraid? Intentionally be afraid. What this tells us is the cure for fear is paradoxically to be afraid. We become vulnerable with our fear. When we feel afraid, we make room to actually feel the fear. When we're vulnerable, it allows fear to circulate, not constipate inside of us. Denial creates constipation inside of us. I believe the true warrior, not the facade of a warrior, the true warrior is one who really knows how to allow themselves to be afraid. That's how they can do such heroic things, because they know how to be afraid. Therefore, what they do in life, it's not limited. They don't have walls put up. Walls of, well, I can't go there, I can't do this, I can't explore that, I can't take that chance because I'm not willing to encounter the fear of it. No. The true warrior, they might appear fearless to our eyes. I believe they are ones who are very intimate with their fear. I'd also invite you to reframe how you think and speak about your fear. Instead of saying, I'm afraid, could you say, part of me is afraid? What this language of part of me is afraid does, it one, allows us to truly honor our fear in the part of us that is afraid. And because we acknowledge, well, this is just a part of me, it's not the whole me, we also make room for other parts of us to be a part of our conscious waking reality. Would you also think about that you are never afraid of what you think you're afraid of? The real fear is always underneath what we think we're afraid of. You can also reframe your fears that appear to be about external things into an internal reality, and you will be getting closer to the heart of your fear. Another important step, ask yourself in any given moment, right now, am I escaping my fears or am I allowing my fears to be a part of me? And in my experience, essential for overcoming your fears is accept your fears. Truly connect with them. What do I mean by that? Notice the body sensations that come up inside of you when you are looking your fear in the eyes. Feel them. Do you get tingling in your neck? Does your heart start to beat? Do you get tingling in your hands? Do your hands get sweaty? Oh, do you get butterflies in your stomach? Really sit, feel, and be present with the discomfort of your very true fears. And also notice what your breathing is doing. Being very conscious to breathe as you're connected to your body sensations, very helpful for allowing your fear to circulate rather than being stuck and constipated. A lot of times when we encounter something scary, we inhale, we take a breath in, and we never let that breath out. Why? Because holding our breath helps us hold back our fear. It helps keep our fear in denial. It's inside of us, but we're just holding it back under the pressure of that breath we took in and never exhaled. A couple closing thoughts on fear. Perhaps you have to be willing to feel scared to death in order to truly live. Be afraid and keep going anyway. Thank you very much for watching. If you subscribe to my channel, I guarantee you your scary monster in your closet will never come out and get you. And also feel free to share this video with your friends.